yeah, so you sort of do it with your eyes closed a bunch of times. Oh yeah, there you go. There's that alpha. Nice healthy alpha. Awesome. Oh yeah, you've got lots. Oh yeah, that is really good stuff right there. Huge alpha.
Should do it with eyes open.
So with your eyes open, if you want to generate alpha, I think you're going to have the most luck with this. It might be more difficult for everyone else, but if you look at something that's moving, it'll be impossible. Because your vision is just naturally drawn to it, and the visual cortex is not going to become synchronized. So you want to stare off into the distance at nothing that's moving. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's like there's too many people all over the place. And then I'll just tell you if you're doing it right. Slash, everyone else will say, and they'll chime in. They'll be like, "Oh, look at that."
Let me know if that's too bright in terms of the light. I'll put a bit more light because it's getting darker, but I don't want to buzzkill the experience.
So there are a few techniques that you can use to do this. What we're doing right now is just basic neurofeedback. I'm sorry, I know you have no neurofeedback. It's gonna be difficult. This is like, this is essentially neurofeedback, but we're gonna hook it up to sounds and to different like things that look different ways. You can do it that way as well. Ooh, that's a lot. Oh, your eyes are closed. Yeah. I was in the middle of a thought. Yeah. Oh,
well, you need something blank to look at.
How you generate alpha on demand. So, what is alpha? Well, we're talking about this. Here, pass this around. This like resting state visual cortex synchronization that happens. It turns out that when you are in a state that has a lot of alpha in it, you are relaxed, and you can learn through alpha neurofeedback to really relax. So it's used for treating anxiety, just like mindfulness meditation is used for treating anxiety. And you can also use it to learn to kind of step out of yourself or kind of like get into this state of like something called open focus, where you just relax and then your pain tolerance goes up. So I've practiced this and I've learned to enter this state of like, you just sort of like zombie out and you kind of unfocus, and then you step into the cold shower and it doesn't hurt as much as it usually would, which is really cool.
Or jump into an ice cold lake and go for a swim without it having too much
or go for a swim with Steve. Have any of you done that yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, if you want to, you should do it before it's friggin' January.
Well, Jeremy and I went for a swim today, and the water was pretty warm today, but
it was pretty nice.
As it gets colder, it'll give you that cold shock effect where you almost want to get in a meditative state and get a little bit of mindfulness before jumping in the lake.
It looks like the Wi-Fi is being slow right now. Hopefully that comes back soon. Okay. So I think I want to go over. I think the next thing we should do is this, and then we're going to talk about what I do. This is a fun little device called NextMind that is specialized for SSVEPs, which is the stuff that I did with research when I did research with Steve. So this sits on the back of your head, like this. And it looks like it's going to be really uncomfortable, but it actually is not bad at all. And you can all try it on. And what they have built with this, actually I can pull this up so we can check it out. Have any of you come across NextMind before? You know what this is? Perfect. This is some BCI here. Okay, I haven't watched this video before. I hope it's good. So they're looking at screens, and the screens flash at different frequencies in different parts of the screen. And depending on what they're paying attention to, it reads it off your head, and it can tell like what you're attending on the screen. So that's used for video games and like creepy marketing things where they want to see how, what draws your eyeballs, that kind of thing. Which is better than an eye tracker because it is modulated by attention. So the more you attend the thing that you're looking at, the higher the response. Yeah, so anyway, I think this stuff is still pretty gimmicky, except for the devices that use prosthetics for locked-in people who don't have the use of their bodies. Those are super legit. But like NextMind and stuff, give it maybe 5-10 years before it's like super legit. Everything's really noisy these days in BCI. That isn't super high-grade, expensive medical stuff. Yeah. Anyway, let's. Oh, did you manage to get the alpha working? We'll try it later. Let's talk about divergence, what I do, and what like neurofeedback therapy is, and then you can all try it. Yeah, let's do that. So, Divergence is the company that I started working for after I graduated. We have a clinical neurofeedback platform. So that's basically it's just neurofeedback that therapists use to treat people with anxiety and PTSD and other stuff, but those are like the really big things. We're working with trauma, working with anxiety. You can also use neurofeedback for epilepsy, so people can learn to reduce their seizures because there's like your brain enters into a certain state before your seizure starts, and you can detect that state and feed it back to people, and they can learn to like tone it down and stop the seizures from happening, which is mind-blowing. That's what neurofeedback is. You feed back the activity to somebody. I'm gonna show you guys that, and then you can take turns trying a basic protocol that's gonna be modulated by your focus, similar to how Muse works. And we can just sort of mix and match and play around with it, and then see what happens. So I'm just gonna use a dev login of this thing that I make, and then we can just connect it to like my phone, and the phone will connect to a headset. I think we'll use the BrainGit here, and then whoever wants to try it first can try it. I want to go into another room and just check it out. Okay, here's a BrainBit. Let me get this phone here. Maybe I'll give a demo and then I'll do it or something like that. Okay. So once this loads, this is we have an app. We have like a mobile app that we made. We have like this web app, and you can make different neurofeedback protocols for your client, and then you run them with them live, and then you look at their EEG as it goes, and they get feedback on their phone. So like you put on your headphones basically, and you go into your room or whatever, and you do the neurofeedback at home. And that's what this is for. And you can just try it out. So I'm going to give an example using a basic alpha up protocol. You can see what neurofeedback looks like. So here I have, this is the app. Everything appears to be working, which is great. You can see what this looks like. And that's going to give me auditory feedback that I'm going to use to tell whether what I'm doing is right. Okie dokie. So here we've got some EEG that we can watch. This is just a dev build of some live neurofeedback. So I have a brain bit on right now. And the way that you do neurofeedback usually, although there's a lot of different stuff in it, but usually there is a baseline period where you just record a bunch of brain activity and you generate a statistical distribution of that activity over the course of, say, 2 minutes. So that's what's happening right now. There's no feedback. And then at the end of the 2 minutes, you have a bunch of samples of the power in a particular frequency band, which in this case is 10 hertz-ish, 8 to 12 hertz. You take what the 8 to 12 hertz power was in the frequency domain at each point in time over 2 minutes, and you generate a distribution of that. And then you pick like 60% in the distribution, and you reward any activity that surpasses that threshold. And that's how neurofeedback is done. And so this is a 2-minute baseline. So we're gonna start to see some of this come up. Fortunately, this screen is low def. Okay, so there it goes. We're gonna start to see some feedback. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to now try to modulate that sound with my brain, and then y'all can try this. Okay, let's see if I can do it. So as I'm watching, should be nice and low. This is the alpha activity on the back of my head. The same thing that we were looking at on the raw EEG. When I move around, it goes up. See, I shake my head, it goes way up. When I close my eyes, after I stop talking, and open. And you can see it naturally settles. And here's what the EEG looks like. And open.
So you've inversed it from what the muse is, right?
Yeah, So this is the opposite of what you get with Muse, which is trying to, where you're trying to make it be quieter. Here you're trying to make it be louder.
No fun this way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they make it be quieter. It seems backwards to me.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on whether you're trying to calm or you see the water flow. Like it
Yeah.
depends what metaphor you want. Like one metaphor is to say I want calmness when I'm calm, and the other metaphor is to say that the noise of the water is the calmness, which is kind of reversed. You could think of it either way.
Yeah, that's a good point. A couple more things to talk about. Your eyes are dipoles. I don't know. You guys might have already learned this.
EOG.
Okay, so your eyes are big dipoles, and when you move them around, because they're dipoles, you're going to see it in the EEG, and that's what EOG is, electrooculography. I think I said that right. But it shows up in the EEG. So like when I blink, which I will do in a moment. I just blink like 11 times, and that's what it looks like. I blink twice fast. Now, if I look in different directions, it also shows up. If I look left, right, you see something like that. Up, down, you should see less. Up and down. Oh, I lied. I guess it's because I moved my face a bit. And then you can also see EMG in the EEG. So EMG is electromyography, which is muscle, the measurement of muscle activity, which is also neural activity, but it just so happens that it's a higher frequency. So I can do that right now. And you just like hulk up and then you get the EMG shows up. So you can tell that's higher frequency because, well, yeah. That is what high frequency stuff looks like. Cool. Okay, there's obviously a bunch more stuff that I could ramble on about, but probably like, if you're like me, you probably just want to try it and just sort of play around with it. And then that way you can have a sense of what it's like. You can hack on it. Does anybody want to try this? You can just like have the, you take this and go into the other room. Oh, I just disconnected it. Oh well, let's try that again. You can take this and go into like over there and just sort of play around with it. You want to be away from people because, you know, people are, they're going to distract you, right? And you need to like meditate it. If anyone would like to try it, you can just take this phone and this and do it. Does anybody want that? Here you go. Enjoy. Wait, let me open that.
Is it connected?
It's